For decades, Joni Lamb stood at the center of one of the world's most influential Christian television ministries, building Daystar Television Network alongside her late husband Marcus Lamb, and becoming one of the most recognizable faces in faith-based broadcasting. Now, following her death at age 65, emotional details surrounding Joni Lamb's funeral, burial service, and expected guest list have become the focus of enormous public attention across Christian media circles. Joni Lamb passed away on May 7, 2026, after reportedly battling serious health complications that worsened following a recent back injury. Daystar Television Network confirmed her death in an emotional public statement, describing her as a woman whose love for the Lord shaped the ministry from the very beginning. Since the announcement, tributes from pastors, televangelists, ministry leaders, singers, and longtime viewers have flooded social media, with many now preparing to attend what is expected to become one of the largest Christian memorial gatherings of the year. Although Daystar initially stated that official memorial details had not yet been finalized publicly, reports and online ministry posts suggest that preparations for a major public celebration of life ceremony are already underway. According to multiple discussions circulating online, the funeral and memorial services are expected to take place in the Dallas, Fort Worth area, where Daystar Television Network is headquartered. The Bedford, Texas-based ministry became deeply connected to Joni Lamb's identity over the past 3 decades, making the region the most likely location for both private family services and larger public memorial events. Sources close to the ministry suggest the ceremony will likely combine traditional Christian funeral elements with large-scale televised tributes celebrating Joni Lamb's decades-long broadcasting legacy. Because Daystar reaches audiences in more than 200 countries, insiders expect portions of the memorial may even be broadcast internationally for viewers unable to attend in person. The atmosphere surrounding the funeral is already being described by supporters as both emotional and deeply symbolic. For many longtime Daystar viewers, Joni Lamb represented far more than a television personality. She became associated with inspirational programming, ministry discussions, Christian talk shows, worship broadcasts, and family-centered faith conversations that millions watched for years. As a result, the guest list expected at her memorial service has generated major public interest. Numerous well-known Christian media personalities, televangelists, pastors, worship leaders, and ministry partners are expected to attend or send tributes honoring Joni Lamb's life and influence. Daystar spent decades partnering with major Christian figures, meaning the funeral could potentially include appearances from some of the biggest names in televangelism and Pentecostal ministry. Public tributes have already emerged from ministry leaders including Paula White and several other Christian broadcasters, who praised Lamb's influence on modern faith-based television. Because Daystar frequently aired programs featuring pastors like Joel Osteen and T.D. Jakes, many viewers believe recognizable ministry figures from across the evangelical world could attend the service or participate through video tributes. At the center of the ceremony, however, will likely be Joni Lamb's family. Her husband, Doug Weiss, is expected to play a major role throughout the memorial proceedings. Since marrying Joni in 2023, Weiss became increasingly visible within Daystar programming and ministry leadership. Following her death, he released emotional statements honoring her faith, strength, and influence on countless viewers. Joni Lamb's 3 children, Jonathan Lamb, Rachel Lamb Brown, and Rebecca Lamb Weiss, are also expected to participate prominently in the service. Still, public attention surrounding the funeral has become even more intense because of the highly publicized family tensions connected to Daystar over the past 2 years. Disputes involving Jonathan Lamb, his wife Susie Lamb, and internal ministry controversies created visible divisions inside the family long before Joni's death occurred. Those tensions resurfaced publicly again after emotional social media statements suggested certain family members felt excluded from important communication surrounding her passing. As a result, many online observers are now closely watching whether the funeral service will reveal signs of reconciliation or further tension among Daystar family members. Despite those controversies, supporters hope the memorial service will ultimately focus on honoring Joanie Lamb's spiritual legacy rather than ministry conflicts. Several ministry insiders expect the ceremony to feature worship music, prayer segments, emotional speeches, and extensive video tributes documenting her decades-long career in Christian television. Many also believe classic clips from her programs like Joni Table Talk and Ministry Now could be included throughout the service. Friends close to the family say Joni loved worship-centered gatherings, meaning music will likely play a major role throughout the ceremony. Christian singers and worship leaders associated with Daystar are expected to participate, with emotional performances likely becoming some of the most memorable moments of the service. Meanwhile, discussions surrounding her burial arrangements have also attracted widespread attention. Although official burial details have not yet been fully confirmed publicly, many supporters believe Joni may be laid to rest in Texas near other members of the Lamb family. Others speculate the burial could remain private, limited only to close relatives and select ministry leaders. Because of the enormous visibility surrounding Daystar, security and crowd management are also expected to become major considerations during public memorial events. Supporters from across the country have already expressed interest in attending services honoring the longtime broadcaster. Social media reaction surrounding the funeral preparations has remained deeply emotional. Thousands of viewers have shared personal testimonies about how Joanie Lamb's programs impacted their lives during difficult seasons involving grief, illness, marriage struggles, and faith challenges. Some supporters credit her ministry discussions with helping strengthen their spiritual lives over decades of watching Daystar programming. Others have been revisiting older clips of Joni speaking about perseverance, healing, and trusting God during painful life experiences, especially after the death of her first husband, Marcus Lamb, in 2021. For many viewers, the upcoming memorial service now feels like the closing chapter of an era in Christian broadcasting history. Joanie Lamb helped transform Daystar from a small Christian station into one of the largest religious television networks in the world. Her influence extended far beyond television hosting alone, shaping ministry programming, family broadcasting culture, and evangelical media for decades. At the same time, her legacy also remains complicated for some observers because of controversies connected to Daystar in recent years, including internal family disputes and criticism involving ministry leadership decisions. Those controversies have only intensified public curiosity surrounding who will appear at the funeral and how the family will publicly interact during the service. Still, supporters insist the memorial should remain focused on celebrating the impact Joanie Lamb had on millions of viewers around the world. Across Christian social media communities, fans continue posting tribute videos, favorite interviews, and emotional memories from her broadcasts. Many describe her as a strong, faith-driven woman who remained committed to ministry work even during difficult personal seasons. As final funeral arrangements continue developing, one thing already seems certain: Joanie Lamb's memorial service will likely become one of the most closely watched events in modern Christian broadcasting. Whether through televised tributes, emotional worship performances, appearances from major ministry figures, or deeply personal family moments, the service is expected to reflect both the enormous influence and the complicated legacy Joanie Lamb leaves behind. And for millions of Daystar viewers worldwide, the funeral will not simply mark the loss of a broadcaster. It will mark the end of a generation-defining figure whose voice, programs, and ministry presence shaped Christian television for more than 3 decades.